There was a hotel that appeared only during storms. Not every storm. Only the ones people walked through when they had nowhere else left to go. It never stood in the same place twice. One night it appeared beside an empty highway. Another time between two forgotten streets in a sleeping city. Sometimes near the sea. Sometimes nowhere anyone could later remember. But it always looked the same. Tall windows glowing gold against the rain. A single sign above the entrance, vacancy. Elias found it at 2:13 am. Cold rain soaked through his coat as he walked down a road he didn't recognize anymore. His car had broken down miles back, his phone was dead, and the storm had swallowed every sense of direction he had. Then he saw the lights. The hotel lobby was strangely quiet. Not empty. Just still. Like the building itself was listening. Behind the front desk stood a woman wearing dark green gloves and an expression to come for that hour of night. "You're late," she said softly. Elias frowned. "For what?" The woman slid a key across the counter. "Room 307. "I didn't ask for a room yet," he said. "You already did," she replied. Something about her answer should have made him leave, but exhaustion is dangerous. It makes strange things feel reasonable. So Elias took the key. The elevator moved slowly, almost silently. And as the numbers climbed, 3, 5, 2, 7, he realized they made no sense. When the doors opened, the hallway stretched impossibly far in both directions. Warm lights flickered overhead. Every door looked identical. Except one. Room 307. Inside, the room looked normal at first glance. Bed. Desk. Lamp. Curtains moving slightly from an invisible breeze. Then Elias noticed the photograph on the bedside table. It was him, standing beside a woman with dark hair and tired eyes. Both smiling. Both younger. His breath caught. No. That was impossible. He picked up the frame carefully. At the bottom, written in faded ink, "Before everything changed." A knock sounded behind him. Elias turned sharply. The woman from the front desk stood in the doorway. "You shouldn't stay awake too long," she said. "What is this place?" he demanded. She looked at the photograph. Then at him. A place for people who got lost between what was and what could have been. Elias stared at her. "I don't understand." "You will," she replied, then she left. That night, Elias couldn't sleep. Because every object in the room belonged to a version of his life he thought was gone. A train ticket from 5 years ago. A receipt from a cafe in Paris. A handwritten note folded carefully inside a drawer. "You always leave before people can ask you to stay." He sat on the edge of the bed for a long time after reading that. Because the worst part wasn't that the note existed. It was that he remembered exactly who wrote it. Her name was Clara. And he had loved her once. Or almost loved her. Sometimes he was unsure anymore. What he was sure about was that he left. Before promises. Before certainty. Before anything could become real enough to hurt him. The next morning. Or what felt like morning. The rain still hadn't stopped. The lobby cafe was empty except for an old man reading near the window. Elias ordered coffee. The woman behind the desk placed it in front of him before he asked. "You knew I'd come down here," he said. "You always do," she replied calmly. That answer unsettled him more than it should have. The old man near the window suddenly spoke. Without looking up. "Room 307. Elias hesitated. "Yeah." The old man nodded slowly. "Tough room." "What does that mean?" The man closed his book. "This hotel gives people the life they keep returning to in their minds," he said. "The one they can't let go of." Elias felt cold despite the warmth of the room. "And if someone leaves?" he asked. The old man smiled faintly. "Nobody leaves unchanged." That night, Elias returned to room 307. But now, there was another door inside the room. One he swore hadn't been there before. Black. Tall. Silent. A note rested against it. "Open only if you're ready to see what happened after you left." Elias stared at the words for a long time. His hand trembled slightly. Because deep down, he already knew. Some doors don't lead to answers. They led to regret. Still, he opened it. And immediately, the room disappeared. He stood inside an apartment he recognized instantly. Clara's apartment. Except years had passed. The furniture was different. The walls emptier. The silence heavier. And there she was. Older now. Standing near the window. Alone. Elias tried to speak, but she couldn't hear him. This wasn't real. It was memory. Or something crueler. He watched her sit down slowly at a table covered in unopened letters. One of them had his name on it. She picked it up carefully. Smiled sadly. Then placed it back. Unopened. Elias felt something inside him break quietly. Because suddenly. He understood. She had waited. Longer than he deserved. And he never came back. The scene shifted again. Faster now. Years moving like pages turning. Clara laughing less. Traveling alone. Growing older. Learning how to live without expecting him anymore. And then, one final moment. A hospital room. Rain against the windows. Clara lying still, weak but peaceful. An older nurse sitting beside her. Did he ever come back? The nurse asked gently. Clara smiled faintly. No, she whispered. But part of him always wanted to. Then the scene disappeared. Elias stumbled backward into room 307 again. Breathing unevenly. Hands shaking. No. He whispered. But the room stayed silent. Because regret doesn't argue with you. It just waits. A knock sounded once more. The woman from the desk entered quietly. You saw it, she said. Elias looked at her with hollow eyes. Was that real? She stepped closer. Real enough. Silence filled the room. Then Elias asked the question he already feared. Why show me this? The woman looked toward the storm outside. Because some people spend their whole lives believing they still have time. Elias lowered his gaze. And I don't. The woman didn't answer immediately. Then softly. You checked into this hotel during a storm, she said. Most people here already missed their chance before they arrived. The lights flickered. For the first time. Elias noticed something strange. The clock in the room was unmoving. 2:13 am. Still. Always. What is this place? He whispered again. The woman looked at him sadly. A moment, she said. The one between realizing what mattered. And understanding it's gone. The storm outside grew quieter. The hotel lights dimmed. And slowly. Room 307 began disappearing around him. Elias closed his eyes. Not because he was afraid. But because, for the first time in his life, he finally understood what he had lost. And somewhere beyond the rain, the hotel waited for someone else who thought they still had tomorrow.